Okay, I'm here at Dreamhack Winter. We just played one of the first quarterfinals. Nerchio defeated MaNa. What are your first thoughts about beating MaNa at this point in the tournament, Nerchio?
Well, I didn't want to underestimate him, so I was trying my best. Actually, it wasn't that as good as I wanted to play because there was a lot of misclicks from me. But yeah, I kind of expected to win against MaNa because we played, 10, 15 times the last 1 or 2 years, and I pretty much never lost, only before that. So yeah, I expected to win, but lately he was better against Zerg, so I was a little bit afraid on me. But he actually didn't play the same way he plays against other Zergs.
Earlier in his career, he was quite weak against Zerg. He would lose to some guys who were actually not even very famous at all. Most recently, he's beaten Stefano a few times, though. Do you think, aside from playing you, his PvZ's gotten good?
Well, he changed his style to two-base all-ins, kind of. So it's a very strong push. It's very hard to stop. Mostly Immortal in. Actually, he was he uses the surprise factor, which actually worked against Stefano, I think 2 times. And Stefano is a little bit overconfident, maybe against MaNa too. So I wouldn't say he got better, maybe a little bit as he's winning more.
In terms of actual skill at the matchup, him and PvZ, you and ZVP, how close is it? Do you think that you win because he has it in the back of his mind? He's lost to you so many times. Does he try to do something different every single time? What do you think it is?
Well, it's hard to say because it doesn't matter for me how many times I lost to one player. I won't really be mentally in a bad way against this opponent. But I think there might be something in MaNa that he really doesn't like to play against me. I guess it's the fact that he really wants to be the best in Poland, but it's really hard, and he really wants to win more against me than anybody else, I guess. So it adds a little bit of stress to his game.
With some countries, I think of the Ukrainian guys, nearly all the players like each other, they're all really friendly. But it seems I was doing an interview with MaNa earlier, and he said just flat out, I don't like Nerchio, I don't like his personality, I don't like him as a guy. Is it a similar feeling to you? Is it a rivals thing?
No, there's not many players I really don't like. More I don't really care if he likes me or not, because that is just not important for me. And I treat him as a player, like any other Protoss. But I want to win more just because he's from Poland, and we compete for the first spot, who is the best in Poland.
When you won the 3rd game, so you'd won the series, he typed in some rage or something into the chat. What did he say? And do you think he was just mad, or do you think he actually meant it?
Well, I guess it's both, because he was 3-0, nobody would be happy probably, and he probably thought it would go better for him, as he was doing quite okay versus other Zergs. And in the end, he lost many times in a row against me, so I guess there is some frustration to that.
But the comment he said was this matchup's retarded or something. You think that was just in the moment, or do you think he actually believes that Zerg is overpowered?
Well, I don't know actually. For me, it's more I whine, but I think the game is quite balanced. There is some silly things that I don't like, but there is probably everything that you can counter somehow, blindly or whatever. Yeah, I guess just he doesn't like the fact that Zerg has Broodlords, but Zergs on the other hand hate the fact that they have to go Broodlords because there is no other way to play against Protoss. And well, I don't think he should win after this match, especially because he did a lot of mistakes or just stupid attacks, and he didn't control his army well, even though at some points he played really well.
It seemed when you were playing against him, you were kind of biding your time, allowing him the chance to make mistakes, or wait till you were just at absolute max before you attacked. Could you have ended some of the games faster but more riskier?
Probably yes, but I know that, as I said, MaNa usually isn't that good late game, so I usually win him in later stages of the game. So I just keep on playing, waiting for him to move his army in a bad position, and this is what happened on Cloud Kingdom, for example. And so I won.
Okay, so the other quarterfinal that you will play in the semi-final is going on now. So let's just do like two scenarios. So first scenario, let's imagine most people would probably predict TaeJa as the favorite to beat Folzane. Let's imagine you were playing TaeJa in the semi-final. What do you think of that matchup, and what do you think of his TVZ?
Well, it's easier for me to play versus Torzane, but I would actually like to play versus TaeJa. I think I would lose because then I don't really like the system. There's only 5 maps. You can veto anything, and there's like 2 maps that good Terrans can really abuse very well.
Which ones?
Antigua and Metropolis. So yeah, that's kind of scary against good Terrans. I don't know how Torzane can abuse that, but TaeJa is very good for sure, as I saw his games against other Zergs. But yeah, I would like to play versus TaeJa. My goal was to advance from the group stages and then maybe beat MaNa, because yeah, there's some rivalry between us. But right now I don't really care if I win or lose, kind of, but I will still do my best.
I saw that some people were saying in TVZ, TaeJa has been using Ravens and battlecruisers a lot more than people usually do. Is that what you would expect him to do in the semi-final, or do you think maybe he'd try like an MVP style where you go with the Thors, etc.? What do you think?
Well, like almost every turn right now adds Ravens very late game, and he would do that for sure on like Metropolis. But yeah, on some maps it isn't very popular. Maybe I don't think it would happen on Antigua, for example. But yeah, that's what I'm afraid of on Metropolis. That's why I don't really like that map, and that's why I said Terrans can really abuse it.
Anytime TaeJa wins a tournament, people always say, "Oh, he's the best player in the world," etc. Where do you actually think he ranks, like in your own mind? What do you think of him as a player?
Yeah, I actually don't know, because I don't really follow this Korean scene that much right now. I guess he's one of the best Terrans that are maybe the best that are coming to foreign tournaments. Yeah, that's why I would also like to play versus him, because lately I've been doing quite bad versus Terran, and maybe I would come up with something interesting during the matches.
You actually haven't, at least from what I remember, you haven't actually played Folzane offline very much. I think you only played him in WCS. Have you ever played him aside from that?
Yeah, I think there was some tournaments, but yeah, like Home Story Cup maybe, and I won there too.
Okay, but you haven't played him very often, considering how many times you've played the other big names in Europe. Do you know his style very well? Have you seen him play much?
Actually, no. I mean, it's probably very similar to other Terrans. Maybe like from Ijit the Muslim or Puma. I think I know what to expect, but I'm not really sure, so I will just see what's going on in the game if he wins versus TaeJa.
Most people at this stage of the tournament, like the fans, will probably say, okay, the winner of the tournament will be either, probably in this order, TaeJa or Nerchio or Hero. They're probably the people they think are like absolute, it has to be one of these 3. What are the chances of the other people that are still in it at the moment? How good are their chances?
Well, I think that Torzane has a decent chance if he wins versus TaeJa, because as I said, the map pool is, I would say it's quite good for Terran. So and I'm not doing that well versus Terran right now, so Torzane could have a good chance versus me. I don't know how is his PvP. I think it's quite good actually, like with the Viking Ghost. So I think he could take down a Hero too. Of course, if Hero advances to the final, because there is like Snoot, I think he can do it too. So there's actually a lot of players that can make it far.
In your group, it looked like you were going to finish top of the group, and then Monchi came in from the Biok and managed to just beat you on map score overall. Did you care if you came out top, second, third, etc.? Was there anyone you were trying to avoid or get into their half of the bracket, etc.?
No, my goal was to advance from the group stages, so after that I didn't really care who am I going to face. Yeah, and there was like 100% chance that I would get a Protoss later. So maybe I didn't want to get Frere, but in the end I got it and I won, so it wasn't that bad. But yes, I think I didn't really care about the bracket that much.
I think the structure of this tournament, with those big group stages of lots of players, and then this style of playoff where you the second and third play and then you go on to the best of 5 all the way through, I think that's going to be in a lot of tournaments now, because I noticed IEM Singapore is using identical format. How do you like the playoffs where every single round is best of 5? You prefer it?
Yeah, of course, it's better for the top players because there's less kind of randomness in the bracket. Especially, you don't really wanna like own your group 5-0 and then lose in one best of 3 in single elimination bracket, because that would be a little bit silly, winning 5 matches in a row and losing just one. Maybe against the race you don't like or something like that. So I think it's good. I didn't really like the one match after, you know, the next day after the in the group stages versus the BYSC player, because yeah, there's just one match. I don't really like. My first match of the day is usually the worst one, and usually this one match decided if you go through or not. So I didn't really like that, but it went well for me.
When Stefano won WCS, people said, "Oh, for sure he's the best foreigner. He's like way better than even some of the other really good foreigners." But the last two tournaments before these, he didn't make the final, and this tournament he dropped out in the group stage. Do you think he's still the best of the foreigners?
You mean Stefano, right? Well, he won Lone Star Crash
this one I forgot about.
The last month. So I don't know who was like. Who were the opponents on the way to the finals?
I think Bomber was one of them.
Yeah, in the finals it was Bomber, and I heard that the final was pretty epic. So, well, maybe a little bit his skill went down, or just he went to too many tournaments. I think that's more the case, because he was like Lone Star Clash, then WCS, and now the Dreamhack, and that can be a little bit demotivating, especially because like he didn't do well at WCS, and it was probably like one of the most important tournaments for him. We'll see how he does at IPL, but I think he can be a little bit worse than usual.
Okay, the last thing I want to talk about is, after this tournament next week, you've got IPL and you've got this GSL World Championship thing. How do you feel about like playing for the European team, trying to beat the Koreans, and then the actual main IPL tournament? Because that's going to be kind of the last big tournament in this year, it seems.
Yeah, actually, I go for IPL 5 kind of just to play, to try, but I'm not really, you know, forcing myself to win or do well. I'm going there mostly for GSL versus World. I think that might be interesting. You know, there's only like 5 foreigners that are playing there, so it's kind of a little bit exposure to. And you know, playing for Europe versus Korea, it was always something special. Let's say, since like Brood War, because Koreans were dominating. It's not that much in StarCraft 2, but it's still, you know, cool to be like one of the 5.
Do you have a final message? Anything you want to say to someone watching?
Pozdrawiam Gosie. This was for Paranoid. He always wants me to greet his girlfriend. And yeah, you can follow me on Twitter. I never say that.
What is your Twitter name?
At Acer Nerchio. I don't really like to promote myself, but yeah, that's it.
Dziękuję.
Thank you.